Hey, what's up, guys? It's Brad, and today what I want to talk about is Tim Pool's interview with Alex Jones. Two different conservative, Republican libertarian type talk show hosts that have shows on YouTube, and Alex Jones on his site band.video. They came together for the first time ever. Tim Pool is more of his appeal is that he's a liberal, sort of. He's a free thinking liberal that basically he's really into like fact checking and shit, and really stringent on fact checking details and really offering a more balanced approach. Alex Jones, obviously the most censored man in the world. He talks about the cabal and conspiracy theory, really conspiracy fact, if we're going to be honest. And so they came together, and it's always interesting to see how people act when they come together. So obviously, it was very interesting to me for a number of reasons. Perhaps the most interesting dynamic that I wanted to point out in this whole conversation is that the way Alex Jones was treated by Tim and his guests for a little while, and mainly Tim, was sort of how conservatives are treated, or just, free-thinking individuals are treated in society today. When I was young, and I was in high school, I would sometimes listen to the things that these teachers were saying, and I would sometimes look at these teachers and think to myself, this is not a person, like I would be taking a business course, let's say, in my half a semester I spent in fucking college. And I went there and I was listening to them, and I'm like, why am I listening to this fat loser that literally is, I'm sorry to say this, but I'm like, why is this guy teaching me about business? I'm like, if he was truly successful in business, wouldn't he have his own business and he wouldn't be teaching college? And plus his just whole attitude, I just look at them like, I'm like, does that really make sense? Like, do we really need to memorize, all these different concepts about business? Or like, do we need to really focus on these little details about things? Why aren't we out doing things? And I would question the narrative, and I'd get smacked down. And it was the same thing, with family, with friends, with, everybody that was just totally bought into the Matrix, I guess. And in this interview with Alex Jones, Tim Pool did exactly that. It was, Tim Pool is, I respect him. I definitely respect him. He's highly successful, very intelligent, very well read. He's got his own paradigm. He's a free thinker, and I respect him, and I think that's why he's so successful, because he does his own thing, and he really sticks to it, and I think that's awesome. The thing that didn't reflect well for him in this is that he acted a lot like a typical authoritative liberal. Your average liberal, your average, we should really stop calling them liberals, because they're not. Liberal implies that you're free, you offer a lot of lenience and tolerance to people to just be themselves and care about them, when in reality, it's a complete inversion of that. They're actually very authoritarian. Let me just say, I really identified a lot with Alex Jones on this, because I'm just going to talk about me for a second, if you don't mind. Literally, when I talk to liberals, I can't say one fucking word that they don't like. If I say Pizzagate, they'll be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. If I say Jesus Christ, they'll be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. What I really want, what it actually pushes me to do, is go off the fucking rails and just say what I really think about things. Because they're obsessed. In fact, Tim's guest really put this nicely. He actually said this very elegantly. He said, liberals, your average NPC chode liberal is someone that just, they're so afraid of that rejection that what they actually wind up becoming is the rejecter. Actually, I put it that way. That was my way of saying it. But his idea is that they're so afraid of going out on their own and stating things as they see them with their own eyes, that they just have to be in this group hive mind mentality where they just attack you for any little fucking thing. And if you say anything out of line, ooh, you're in deep shit. So, that was basically what happened with Tim Pool and Alex Jones, is that Alex would say one fucking thing and then he'd be fact checked. It's like with Joe Rogan. You saw the same thing. This is a dynamic that I've experienced honestly, day in and day out in my life. When people ask me what I do, and I tell them that I teach guys dating, they're like, "Oh," the first thing I always say is it's just like so stupid. They're like, "Oh, like Hitch," and I'm like, not like Hitch, okay? This is why I have my job. And they're like, "Well, what do you mean?" I'm like, "Well, what's the most like common thing that you tell guys?" I'm like, "Well, pretty much everything that they've been conditioned to believe about women is pretty much wrong. That's why they're having these problems with women, whether they know it or not, whether the girl's doing it behind their back or not." And they're like, "Well, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there." It's like, well, dude, yeah, okay, but that's why I have a job, because I've seen the reality behind the curtains. But literally, like, you say one thing that they don't like, and they just shut you down. That's what Tim Pool spent the whole interview doing with Alex Jones. Really, really hard to listen to. I mean, I respect Tim Pool. I'm not going to say anything, necessarily bad about him. He's trying to run a business. He's very business-minded. You can tell. He also has principles where he's trying to be, he fence sits where, like, on one hand, he's all about, fact-checking. And really, fact-checking is just a form of psychological control, because, again, it's like a ridge line or a shoreline. As you zoom in, a shoreline is fractal. There's no, the more you measure a shoreline, the longer it gets. That's actually a real principle. You can look it up. Fact check me on that, you fuck. But, again, like, you can infinitely fact check something. The nature of reality is relatively malleable. You can't necessarily, completely fact check something 100%. That's why they do it as a method of control. They know what they're doing. There are some people that are smart in charge of the whole fact check idea. So it's a way to control people and keep them in a box. Tim likes to play the role of, he plays the game. He does the best at play the game. He's pretty good at it, where, you can't say certain names. You have to, you have Alex Jones on, you have Brad Holiday on, you got to fact check him, keep him in check, because Brad Holiday is such a misogynist. He hates women. That's what they'll say about me. When in reality, I treat women a lot better than your average, than a lot of people, dude. Most guys, and I'm not saying I haven't made mistakes with girls, but, like, let's be honest, most guys that I've heard of are very controlling. They're very needy. They're not fun. They don't fuck the girl well. They have a plethora of problems with the girl. They're not masculine. They're not cool. They're not funny. They're not in shape. I make mistakes, okay? I'm not saying I'm fucking perfect, but the point is that if I can forget what the point is. The point is, though, they'll call me a misogynist because I'll say, go and approach a bunch of different girls, and girls need to have a dominant, strong male presence leading. I'm not saying, like, go and fucking caveman the girl, but I'm not going to deny that they don't really like that too. Okay, they really do like that. You'd be very surprised at what they actually enjoy. Most guys that have never done cold approach have no fucking idea what that's about. Zero. Like, if you haven't done it, just, you can't say. I mean, whereas I've had experiences that I'm like, wow, that was fast. I went in with total confidence. I'd approach 20 different women that day, and then it just went in like, boom, like, yo, like a fucking face, what's up? And she's just like, oh my god, you're so bossy, you have such courage. I'm like, where'd it go? And I'm gonna lick your butt. She's like, oh my god. She's like, yeah, like, come on, you're gonna go fucking blow me in the park. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I just fucking said that, let's go. She's like, oh my god. And it's just like 2 seconds later. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the club, I'm just like, you. What's your fucking name? Where you from? Just, you're like, what? That seems like something that would absolutely not work. It does work. I'm telling you, it absolutely does work. And that's part of the paradigm shift, is people can't understand that. They can't accept it because it takes a lot to do that, okay? It takes a lot, especially for me, a guy like me who naturally is socially anxious. I got a lot of, hang-ups and stuff. But try telling a guy like Tim Pool that, and he'll be like, whoa, 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 you're telling me that women will cheat on their husband? Women are angels. You can't say that. Let's fact check it. So, that was what Alex Jones was dealing with. But the difference is, and again, I respect Tim Pool. I think he's cool. But, again, he's got his place. People like Alex Jones and Brad Halliday have their fucking place too. Alex Jones calls it as he sees it. He trusts his intuition. Carl Jung would call it, being an intuitive type personality. He has the INTJ or whatever the fuck, that personality test. You basically have different levels of personality traits at the moment in time. And for me, I tend to be pretty intuitive. I tend to go with my gut, and I do what I believe is the right thing to do. And it's led me to where I'm at, which is, I'm making content. Been making content for a long time. Made a lot of mistakes in the past, but I fail quickly, and I fail fast, and I fail a lot until I succeed. And I take a lot of fucking action. So I'm not mad at it. With that said, I think that's like a similar personality type to Alex Jones. Obviously, we're two different people. Do look up to him quite a bit, and he will talk about things that are more esoteric and more, hard to believe. But again, the way that our native, this is a funny thing about a lot of people is that they'll refuse to believe things that are true nature or closer to true nature of reality, but are further removed from the narrative you're fed. The narrative you're fed is really to just keep you in line, or even worse, it's for an agenda. Even worse, it's actually designed to keep you in line. It's designed to literally have you, like with girls, for instance. With girls, girls are, you're subconsciously fed this idea that girls are perfect and they're angels and they're so amazing, and they don't cheat, and therefore you get into a relationship with a girl, you start seeing one, and she'll act like, you're the best thing since sliced bread, and you'll have a very hard time contemplating the fact that, she's basically like a dude with holes. That's one of my favorite quotes about girls. It's like, girls are like dudes without a dick, they're like dudes with a hole. Which I think is fucking pretty accurate, dude. I mean, a lot of, especially nowadays, man, you crazy? I mean, a lot of you guys are tripping, dude. Like, you're marrying these girls, moving out with them. I'm not saying that, you can't marry or move in with any girl, but, like, you have to really, really vet them. That's one thing I've really learned, okay? We're not in 1950 anymore. We're not in the 1800s anymore. You listen to what these girls are listening to and their influences. I don't really care who your girl is. She's probably got some bad influences, unless she's Amish. So, with that said, try bringing that up with a guy like Tim Pool. Be like, I can't talk about this. This is highly offensive to my religion. And, that's just what it is. My experience with people like him, and nothing bad about Tim, loved him. I watch his podcast every day. I watch his videos every day. Great reporter, super smart, ton of respect for his ambition. He grinds. He puts out great content. He does his research. Great reporter. Love him. I'm not saying anything bad. We need people like Tim Pool. He's a liberal that I can fucking tolerate. He even voted for Trump because he does think for himself, and that's something I can respect. So we need people like Tim. We need people like Alex. We even need people that are crazy liberals. But, we need to learn from this and not let them ever do this shit again, where you can't say anything. I mean, I remember having conversations with my parents where I would say one fucking word, and they'd be like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. Like, so you're saying you're a misogynist? So you're saying that you're a bad person, you're a piece of shit, more or less, is whatever they said. And I'm like, how can you get that from what I just said? That doesn't make any sense. All I said was that women enjoy a more dominant personality, and I'm going to leave out why I brought it up. But then all of a sudden they're acting like this is this big fucking mystery, when in reality, if you just look at human nature, that's actually true. Like, you look at a woman being dominating over the man and being like, ugh, she's rolling her eyes at him, she's, her energy's pulling away from him, he's like there pouting or something, or kind of like just hovering around. I've been that guy. I'm not trying to say like, oh, I'm this great guy, not that that fucking matters, all of us have. Go fuck yourself. But try looking and seeing a guy that's falling around a girl versus a guy that's like, hey, like, we're gonna go over here, and the girl's like, okay. That's more in line with nature, okay? I don't care about your LGBTQ status, all right, bro? Like, I don't care about your little lesbian dance theory credentials. This is true. You meet a girl, she enjoys it more, unless she's a man, unless she's a fat lesbian that takes lesbian dance theory, and there's a lot of them out there. So if you're an effeminate man, you can go get with one of those that could lead you around for the rest of your life. That's not me, and that's not what I think is in line with nature for most men. We don't need to always focus on the exception, the victim. That's the thing that really pisses me off about PC culture. It's like, oh, you're supposed to care about the 0.001% that wants to be medically blinded and wear hooves. It's like, yeah, but what about me, dude? Like, I'm a normal human being. I want to produce. I want to have peak experience with hot girls, and I want to live a good life. So where's my consideration? You don't have any. So go fuck yourself, liberal. You cuck. Straight up, bro. That's my honest to God take on it. It's like, where's the consideration for me? Oh, you want consideration? You can have it. But don't be fucking micromanaging me. So, I know I kind of went off for a bit, but that's just my honest to God experiences with these people. It's like, oh, you can't say a word. You can't look a certain way. I'm serious. Growing up, this is my experience, because my parents, I don't give a fuck. My parents were, they're cultural revolution, children of the flowers, or whatever the faggy shit they were fucking into is absolutely, it didn't work for them. It didn't work for them in their relationship. Let's put it that way. Didn't work for raising kids either. But, ooh, man, it was a nightmare. Fucking nightmare growing up like that. But I'll just say this. For me, with them, it was like, you can't, even now, I don't even really talk to them, because you can't say anything. You say one thing that's outside. They can sit there, for instance, let's bring it to politics. They can sit there and be like, oh, Trump and his stupid redneck supporters, implying it. They've never actually said redneck in front of me, but they've said things, and I've heard through the grapevine the things that they say, and I see how they, and I'm not just talking about my family, I'm talking about, people in general, and liberals in general are extremely racist. The left, way racist. The things they say about middle America and black conservatives, are you joking? I mean, it's just like, I don't even know why black people put up with it. I'm like, dude, if you go and tell some black guy, yeah, he's an Uncle Tom, and bro, like, a lot of black guys I know that are my friends, you call him an Uncle Tom, he's gonna knock you out. You call me a kike to my face, like some of these liberals have called me, I'm gonna knock you the fuck out. I don't know how I would react if you called me a kike to my face, but we're probably gonna fight. So, the point being, though, it's total hypocrites, because, like, they think that they're smarter than you. And I hope they come around, but god damn, dude, they are so full of shit. So, I just remember the point I'm making, and bring it back to the interview. It's my life experience, very similar to that. I breathe the wrong way. I look the wrong way. They're like, I don't like your tone. I don't like how you're acting. I don't like how you're looking at me right now. I don't like how, you did this or you did that. It really fucked me up, I'm still, like, really fucked up from all that. But I found, one of the best things that I found recently to really help me get over it is Jesus Christ. And through my understanding of Jesus Christ and the sacrifice he made for me and you and all of us, he died on the cross for us, for the sins that we've all committed. He died happily, gave his life for you. And I don't care if you don't believe in that, but that's who that man That's what that represents. So by getting in touch with that, learning more about Christianity, and I'm a Jew, by the way, but I believe in Jesus Christ. And I do believe in Christianity, and I'm still, kind of eking my way into it, but I'm learning more and more. I cast out that shit. I'm like, just be gone. Be gone. In the name of God, in the name of Jesus Christ, be gone. Have this badness, be gone. I want to speak my truth. I want to be honest. I want to respect what I'm seeing and what I'm feeling. And if you can't handle that, that's your weakness. That is not my weakness, that's your weakness. Okay? So, be gone. You are not going to plague me anymore in the name of Jesus. And that's it. And they're gone. And I feel a lot better because, it's a good thing. It's been very empowering to me, actually, to have that. And I'm just going to be honest with you, man. That's a big thing with the left. They're totally disconnected from God. They don't believe in God. They don't believe in Jesus. They attack Christians. They're atheists. Some of them are Satanists. There's like 3 million Satanists in the United States alone. So, I mean, you look at a guy like Tim Pool. He's not really... Alex Jones brought up in the interview one fucking point. He brought up Christianity. Or I don't even think he said that, but he alluded to it. Tim's like, oh, we can't talk about religion here. Oh, we can't talk about that. Big tech won't like that. Actually, dude, take your big tech and shove it right up your fucking ass. Because the day that you're going to sell out God for like some money, you're going to sell it out for some money and some fame. You got a lot to learn if that's how you're acting. And I understand, because they really have us all in between a rock and a hard place, and I've definitely gotten fucked over for talking about things I believe to be true. I do my best to be true. And as truthful as I can, not perfect at it, but that's what I really try to do, because I believe in what I'm saying. And I think that the left, they're scared of that voice. They're disconnected from God. They won't trust their ability to just see with their own eyes and share. And therefore they just go all into this stupid hive mind of idiocy. Last point I'm going to make. All these people that believe, there was a point on Tim Pool's podcast, there was a point where he talked about how all of his dumb liberal friends literally believe that Biden has won. Like, because the media said it, that means he literally won. Which obviously is completely retarded, right? So he was saying all of his liberal friends don't watch news, they don't read, they don't know anything. So they literally just think what CNN says, or the talking points, or what their dumb, low IQ friend says at school, fluoride brain and all. They're like, oh yeah, Trump packed the courts. Actually, in reality, he didn't. He elected Amy Coney, or whatever. He put forth Amy Coney Barrett. She went through the process, clearly highly competent. That's not packing the court. That's what the Democrats are planning on doing. Packing court is expanding the Supreme Court beyond the regular amounts of seats so that you can fill it with far left extremists. And this is what they do in all communist countries like Venezuela. So that's a lie. So they all think that Trump packed the court. They also think that Biden officially won, despite all the evidence of voter fraud. These people are so dumb. And then he was just saying, like, none of them read. They all just have this idea that they're smarter, they're better than you, that, they'll look at a guy like me, they'll call me a kike, they'll call me a traitor, they'll call me a redneck, they'll call me white and white privilege and all this. Frankly, I just want to shoot him in the fucking face and be like, yeah, what's up? Like, let's just get this over with, dude. Like, let's just get this shit over with. You want to keep calling me names? I've been taking that for 5 years after I voted for Obama twice. After I've had multiple black girlfriends, I don't care. I played in a black gospel band in the Bronx where I was the only white person there for years. Do I give a fuck about race? Bro, nobody Like, I made this point earlier, too, about these liberals that pander to black people. They're like, they tell black people what they should think, how they should vote, what they should believe in. Black people don't really like that. Okay, maybe some psycho liberal black people like that, but most black people are like, who the fuck is this little white privilege? You know, not privilege, but like, you know, who the fuck is this bitch? I'm living in Harlem. This bitch is living on the Upper East Side with her parents in a condo, and she's coming over here and lecturing me and throwing shit at me, and she's 18. Like, this is my favorite. On dating apps, or I'm out on a date, or whatever, there's some girl that's 18 that's telling me that my politics are wrong, or 19 or 20. And I'm like, hey, shut the fuck up. You don't know anything, do you? Give me some examples. No. Please. Give me some examples, Miss Fucking Genius. And oh, you might look at that and be like, wow, that's so harsh. Yeah, it is. But that's, number one, in terms of dating, that's what you have to do. You know, you can't treat women so much differently than you treat men. You know, if some guy's like calling you a racist, like, shut the fuck up, bitch. You don't know me at all. That's a normal response. Sitting there and being like, oh, okay, yeah. And believe me, I do that plenty of times. Because I just don't want to fight all the time. But, like, sometimes saying that to a girl is not the worst fucking thing. They actually get turned on by that. Because most guys are like, you're right, what was I saying? I ordered a chicken. That's so racist and cultural appropriation. This fucking 18-year-old girl. The guy's like a billionaire and 45 years old. And he's literally taking cues from an 18-year-old fucking fat lesbian with blue hair. Get the fuck out of here. You know, seriously, have some fucking self-respect, guys. So anyways, the ultimate thing is like, learn to trust yourself. Learn to be a bit more gangster. Learn to be, like, you know, more real and shit. And that's it. I mean, like, just be fucking real, dude. Don't be so afraid of just being honest. You know? Oh, the law says I can't have a gun to protect myself. Like, as if that's a bad thing. But Antifa and BLM, no. That shit got taken completely off the table after that, okay? You know, your gay little laws, that got completely taken off the fucking table after I watched New York City burn. Okay, you can go fuck yourself. So anyway, I went off as usual. Hope you guys have a great day. Remember to subscribe and check out my blog, bradholiday.com. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.